Hello, we're doing some Minecraft builds about books for school, like a nerd. Step one on making a good Minecraft build: completely like squash and stretch your screen until it looks terrible, just absolutely no good and bad. And then step two, pick some nice looking blocks. Little intervention. I only had to do one build technically, but the first two were kind of low effort, and I got kind of bored, so I did three of them. Um, yeah, it was kind of unnecessary, but it I had fun, so it's fine. So the first book that we have a build based off of is The Giver, and basically what that's about is this guy who lives in a utopia, right? Everything's perfect, and also everything's in black and white. I don't know what that has to do with a utopia, but it's probably important. And eventually he's like chosen, I think, and he goes to talk to this old guy, and he lets him see the color red. The first thing he sees that's red is an apple, which is where the build comes in, right? And then he stops taking his meds that make him want to utopia or something, and then he runs away from his like town into the woods, and then I think he's like finds a baby at some point, and then he finds a cabin, and the creator had to like come out and say they didn't die at the end. So they didn't die at the end, I know that much. Now that we're done with the first build, we can make Minecraft look normal again and not bad. And then I'll show off the build a little bit of it not looking terrible and bad. I had like pixel art of like the original apple, like Minecraft apple, with like a grid, so it was easier to build. And then I just like grayscaled half of it. It wasn't a good red though, which was annoying, so I couldn't like detail shade one half of the apple, and then the other half looked kind of awkward. So that led me to make the second build, which is what we're gonna get into now. Alright, next book is The Outsiders, a certified classic, in my opinion, because I had to read it in middle school. Basically, Ponyboy is the main character, and then he has all his like friends and like family, which they're all part of this group called Greasers, which is like kind of like, I think like biker vest, slick back hair, rolled up white t-shirt looking kind of dudes. That's kind of what they look like. And, you know, kind of guys that snap their snap their fingers in an alleyway. And he has to write a book for school, and then they go on a bunch of wild misadventures. There's a lot of conflict with like the higher class people in the book, and then they all get into like everyone starts fighting each other like in the family. There's a lot of relationship bond issues, because it's like his brother raising him or something, and then like a friend of the family kind of deal. and they all kind of like raise each other, right? So their bond needs work, and then they get in like a bunch of gunfights, and then one of them dies. I think like a couple of them die actually. Spoiler, I guess. And Ponyboy decides to write about his experience with what he's gone through, and one of the quotes in the book is "Stay gold, Ponyboy," which is one of the guys right before he died. Spoiler again. He's reciting a poem that is in the book and is important because it's a nice poem. Because they had to like live in a barn at some point, or like no, they went to a church. The church burnt down, and I think he read something about a poem, about that poem, not a poem. So I built the school. I got a book and quill with that quote in the book. I couldn't put it on the table blocks I was using, so I just kind of put it on the chair. It's a little awkward, but it works, I guess. So, fun fact, if the previous explanations of the books sounded like I was making them up on the spot, I kinda was. I don't have the books on hand, and I read them back in, like, middle school. So I was kinda going off memory, but that's okay, because I'm pretty sure I'm right, and if I'm not, I was right about the builds, at least. The builds are at least right. And this next build, I know for sure I'll be right about when I explain it, probably, because I have the book on hand, so I'll know exactly what I'm talking about. It's not really a novel, though, because it's kind of like a comic deal, which is why I have the other two builds here, too, because those are novels, but I kind of haven't read them in, like, a really long time. So my memory is a little foggy on it, but this one I got. Also, a pro tip for if you're doing Minecraft builds, you want to stand still at the same spot for like 45 minutes while you're reading a book. I was looking for a good reference picture. Alright, it's Adventure Time, which is also the book I read. Specifically, the comic Volume 3. The comic has 2 stories in there. One of them's a choose-your-own-adventure kind of deal. We're gonna ignore that one. I don't know if the other story really has a title other than it's part of Volume 3. I have the book on me. I'm not sure if you can hear me flipping through the pages. I'm assuming you can. But, it starts with Finn, Jake, and Marceline, all at Finn's house. They want to play some video games, so they're gonna play Super Gut Punch 3, the hardest game ever. And it's really easy, and they beat it easily, like One Punch Man style, literally. And then they see this hacker name, and they're like, oh, that must be a wizard. So they find all the wizards. It's none of the wizards, because it's not a wizard. And so Beemo starts freaking out, which is the robot's name, if you didn't know that. Beemo's the robot. And he starts freaking out. He starts running real fast, and leads him right to a bunch of other infected robots, because Beemo's infected with a virus. That's why the game was so easy, and that's bad, because also Beemo's, like, not good. Beemo's doing bad, and it's this one guy who made a virus to make cheats for games, which combined it with a military-grade super virus to destroy all the better enemies, which then just made it so they combined, and then now they just want to destroy all the better players, basically. But Finn and Jake and Marceline don't like that because they got BMO and that's not nice. So they can't beat him in the real world because he's a giant robot and they don't want to hurt BMO. So Finn, Jake, and Marceline go into the robot world by BMO just kind of like beams them in, and they beat him there by becoming a giant robot. One fun thing I love about this book is there are little tiny secret messages at the bottom of the pages. I never noticed this until I was reading it right now. Like, I legit never noticed this. Some of them are codes, which I don't know how to decipher at all, because they're just combinations of B, M, and O in 3-letter sequences in between each other. I wonder if the first volume has something like that, but there are ones that aren't in codes, and I'm gonna find some of my favorites from there. Bum chops are like pork chops, only they are different in some really, really important ways. That's a classic. There are a lot of short straws you can get when drawing a wizard identity. Just be thankful you're not always shows up real late and never apologizes and is messing up his friendships wizard. I'd hate to be that guy. Jake the dog and Jake the card shark, who is also a dog. Don't go dancing with elbow wizard. He's all elbows. And his internal organs have been replaced with tiny specialized elbows. Truthfield Projection Princess is actually the shortified nickname, the version of her name. Her full handle is Mandatory Truthful Response Field Emitter and Polarity Aligned Honestly Particle Atmospheric Wavefront Generator with Decoupled Quantum Phase Linear Projection Matrix Princess. See why they shortened it, I guess. I'm gonna stop there because otherwise this message is gonna be too long and this video is gonna be too long. But there's a lot more. Hey, if you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. I have one more video kind of in the style of this. It's gonna be a PowerPoint presentation, so probably not as fun as this, but I'll still try to make it fun and a little interesting because I really don't want to bother having to upload it to my school account. Really, because I feel like it's just gonna be a hassle for some reason. I don't know why. I just think it's gonna be. But yep. See you later.